Hi everybody, welcome to AMS 1.6. We've just downloaded the update. Huge update, 15 gigs, lots of improvements, new DLC, increased car size, grids, multiplayer, a couple of new cars in the LMP and GT3 class, and new tracks, the AMS track pack. Heap of improvements to multiplayer, of course, in terms of sending and receiving of data to help with all those disconnects. Brand new UI apparently as well, and of course the physics is the big one. The tires have been reshaped again. This is the maturity apparently for the tire model. So wet and dry, revised aero, brand new brake thermodynamics, and sounds as well apparently. So huge amount of AI fixes there. So let's start it up and see what we've got. This is the absolute first time loading everything up, so it'll be brand new for all of us. So I'm sure some of you have already played it earlier today. I've been putting out Christmas trees. Okay, Blink, how are you, mate? You've heard, of course, lots of good feedback from the beta testers and so on, so I'm expecting some improvements. Hopefully it's up to the standard. Race room is my standard, and here we go. Looks good, like it. First impression. Nice rounded menus there. They've gone mad on the rounding off of the things, the corners. Everything looks sort of similar. It's in the same spot, so that's good. Straight away, the menus feel less clunky. I always hated in the old menus when you were scrolling down. Never quite scroll smoothly, so that's all nice. Nice colour palette and all the rest of it. So first car I'm going to drive is, we're going to try a GT3 Gen 2 McLaren at Montreal. It was the last car that I drove a few months ago in the game, and I sort of gave up on it because it was just a horrible driving experience. A test those. Does that have other cars on track or not? I'm going to get some AI involved here as well. I think a test day is probably just yourself on its own, isn't it? So let's go back and we'll do a single race. Go to the GT3 Gen 2. McLaren. Everything's familiar in terms of the menus, it just looks different. There's nothing new there. Okay, all the tracks there. Obviously the new stuff is on there as well. There's always a free period with the DLC. We've got tracks like Sebring, Road Atlanta and Mosport are there for you to try out before you buy them, but we will go to Montreal because that's the last place I drove. And we'll have the same class. We'll put 15. We'll put AI on 100. They have changed it, so the lower amount is slower. The 120% is faster than it used to be. So we'll leave it on 100 and see how we go. So obviously expecting huge things from 1.6. The beta testers have been all over it the last couple of months, telling us how good it is. And I said the last time I drove this car was absolutely horrible. Just almost, sometimes hard to explain, just a mid-corner thing. I don't know if it was the differential or the tyres, but it just did not feel like you're supposed to drive it. And of course, an AMS 2, the best way to get out of trouble is just give it a boot full of throttle, and that will fix all your problems. So that should be fixed now. There should be a sort of the edge of grip of the tyres, and they should go off and not give you that lap time back like you used to be able to. You'd go into a corner too fast, understeer a bit, give it a boot full of throttle, and see how we go. So they've also redone all of the default setups as well. I think we're obviously on default, I'm assuming. Reset, there we go. We'll leave everything as is. Won't touch it. We'll just go straight to drive. myself a bit more volume in my ear there as well. Limiter engaged, it lights up nicely. There's no man in front of your pit box telling you where to go. And of course, cold tyres, no tyre warmers. They're very much like sort of LMU, you've got to bring those tyres up to temperature in the first couple of laps. Turn our limiter off. That's a nice feature. A few leaves and debris on the side of the pit exit there. We'll just get out and warm the tyres up. And some visual improvements as well, I believe, with the update. Montreal looking lovely this time of year. We're still getting about 80 frames a second. The tyres are still absolutely stone cold. As you brake, that heat will circulate into the tyres as well. I turn TC down. I used to have it quite low on the old GT3 cars. I just find in general that I like a lower TC. But it cuts in too much on most games. Even the same with the ABS. Of course, now this tyre model is at maturity for AMS 2. We do have to compare it to sort of the best of the best, which for me is Race Room and of course R Factor 2. That's the sort of breadth that AMS want to be held in regards to, and probably an iRacing in terms of its multiplayer system. I have heard today there's huge numbers on the multiplayer. We'll have a go on multiplayer later on. A lot of tyre noise coming through the car. I don't remember that from the previous build. It may just be a setting to turn down. The tyres still aren't green. Probably got one more lap before we start giving them thoughts. Brake way too late there for the chicane. Assuming being probably correct time of year in terms of the weather, a little bit cooler over in Canada. It's of course almost summer here in Australia, and a couple tomorrow actually. I'm assuming we've got quite cool track conditions. Can't say I'm overwhelmed at this stage. Still feels very AMS2 like. Those tyres are just about up to temperature now. Way too late again on that chicane. I may have to adjust the brake pressure back up a little bit. Yes, we are on default, of course. So this car I drove a couple of months ago is when I pretty much gave up on the game until this update came out, because it was just a horrible experience. I think I won the race that I was in, but the actual thing of driving the car was not very fun at all, especially for a GT3. Of course, never driven a GT3, but watching motorsport for 35 years or so, you have some idea what they look like from how they should drive on the TV. It's just the over driving that you had to do for AMS2 was the thing that put me off in the end. Yeah, you're right, Blink. Definitely not impressed with the GT3 at the moment, and I think, you know, the Gen 2, the feedback from previously was they did drive worse. The Gen 1 GT3s are not too bad, but the Gen 2 cars, from most people, said they weren't fantastic to drive, and this, as I said at the moment, extremely underwhelming. So we are fully up to temperature. Yeah, just there's something in the mid corner with these cars that just feels weird. I mean, it could be equipment related with me, absolutely, or it could be the car. It will jump out in a second. We'll try something else for sure. We'll try some Formula 1 car. We'll try LMDH. Try something with a H pattern. The V8 supercar, of course, that was a car that people wanted to like, but they never could quite come to grips with. It was again that slidey sort of thing that people talk about with AMS. Yeah, it's hard to describe, Blink. You're right, it's just a disconnection. You can't, in this car at the moment I'm talking about, from just my 5 minutes of driving here, there's just a disconnect between what you're feeling and what you're seeing and everything. It could be the TC as well, when the TC is kicking in. Mostly the way the tyre and the TC are interacting together. I mean, does it feel better than the last time I drove it? Probably yes. It has been 3 or 4 months since I drove this car in that race. I did do the GTL charity race in the old Opella stock cars, but they're, you know, 1970s mad old touring cars, so really hard to judge anything from them. But this was the last proper race I did. Of course, we're on default setup, so I haven't, you know, touched the suspension or the camber, steering settings, any of that sort of stuff. I'll do one more lap after this. So I actually set some sort of lap time. So we are on, so I left the AI at 100 or 102, whatever I had it on previously. As we go just behind the AI at that rating, so I find obviously usually run AI at 105-ish, 110 on the old 1.5 build. That sort of simulated the human players that I drive against fairly well. Yeah, I'll just do one more lap here in this car, and then I think we'll jump out and try something else, because this is definitely, I said, a very underwhelming experience. This still feels very, very much like AMS2. Game looks great though. The sound does sound good. I'm sure. I think every car's had sound improvement. I'll be honest, I can't remember what this car sounded like previously, but it does sound good in its current state, so that's nice. Well, I did see a video with James Baldwin. He said it's not as throaty as the real thing, unfortunately. But he did say it has improved. He drives that car in real life in the GT3 series over in Europe. Alright, so I'll finish this lap and then we'll jump out. And we'll try something else, I think. Gained a bit of time there off the final corner. He should put us ahead of the AI there. Yeah, alright. Okay, so first cab off the rank. Underwhelming. So let's how do we exit? There we go, exit at the top. So getting used to the new menus. So I think Blink said let's try a LMDH car. That's probably not a bad idea. So I think the other thing to point out too, I did see in somebody else's video previously there was a preset option here with I think preset rules and tracks and all the rest of it. So if the LMDH cars are here somewhere, well, the tech should be it, shouldn't it? There we go. There we go. Alright, so we'll try. Now let's try the Lambo. Everyone loves a mad Lamborghini. Bright red. Sorry, bright green. What am I saying? Bright green. Too tired from putting out Christmas decorations today. Yeah, preset parts cool, mate. So there's we'll just go back to it. The preset, obviously, when you hit the preset, it changes, and whatever series that you pick, it changes the default menu. Where are we? Here, GT3. There's a championship mode there, multiplayer, so it becomes specific to that series that you've chosen. So that's quite a cool innovation there. You don't have to go scrolling through menus for things, so that's really nice. Let's jump on. We'll do a practice session. Everything looks good. Actually, let's go Sebring. That's a nice bumpy place. I've done plenty of laps there in R Factor 2. Go Sebring in a LMDH car. So we'll pick that Lambo. Alright. I don't know what the feedback in general is at the moment with the new thing. I think it's most people think it's improved. To what level? It is competing with, when they talk about most realistic simulators, it's the same old ACC, iRacing, R Factor 2, even race rooms in that discussion these days. So I think Automobilista, their goal, and Reza Studios' goal is to get up into that conversation at least, and at least be talked about. Previously, of course, people said AMS 2, fantastic fun, lots of content, all that sort of stuff, but fun was the word they used. It was never... You never saw any of the guys who do real world racing and sim racing say, AMS2 is a fantastic representation of what a real car feels like. The world record, our old mate Dino there's from GTL set a world record of 146.3. Bit of a long loading time, bit longer than we used to at AMS2. Here we go, almost in. Let's do a little bit of we've got 3 tyres, we'll just go soft. Increase that brake pressure a little bit. Maximum boost. very bumpy track. Oh, it's a big rake on the car. 82 was the default. Oh, look, to be honest, I haven't got into LMU yet, mate. I'm a huge R Factor 2 fan, of course. Everyone knows that with me, but when LMU came out, I actually broke my leg at that stage at the start of the year, so I missed the LMU train, didn't get onto it. Look, it just depends what you want. Obviously, ACC had the multi-class thing kind of sewn up, and a lot of people have moved on from that. Oh, here we go. We've got, this is the little, not bug, but there's a thing where there's only so many pit boxes. And the cars go, so there we go. Yeah, look, I may get LMU if it goes on sale, but it's just another sim I've got to play and put time into. I think it's a fantastic sim from what I've seen. And if you like just driving the GT3 cars, of course, and the LMDHs and everything else, then that's fantastic. But it is a bit like ACC, I suppose, in that regard, where there is a limited set of cars. Whereas things like this game, R Factor 2 is very old, I know, but and Race Room as well. Yeah, Race Room's getting some huge updates next year. Graphics overhaul. It's got, as much content, I reckon, as AMS 2. So that's where I'll be putting a lot of my time next year. I love how Race Room drives, and that's when I'm driving this car. I'm comparing everything to Race Room. Yep, hypercar's coming. They've now fixed up properly the engine deployment of the energy mode, whereas it used to give you an out-and-out boost. Oh, there's a gull track. A boost of energy. Now it actually does, like in real life, where the hybrid system is simply topping up the internal combustion motor. You're not getting additional power, you're just maintaining maximum power. So a little bit of a stutter there. So we'll put it on auto. If I can get my buttons right. And we'll have a talk about Sebring. Look, these things drive well, mate. I think this would be the one to get over LMU, to be honest. And of course, in the multiplayer phase, they've got Low Fuel Motorsports, the multiplayer system integrating into this. That's in beta at the moment, but that will be fully integrated come January. This thing sounds fantastic. It's on the blip on the downshift there. The Sebring looking fantastic, I have to say. The car now a lot more aero than that GT3 we ran before. I want to be able to feel the bumps as well here at Sebring. Just about last corner. Oh, huge bump on the inside there. Try to avoid that next time. I'm also on the plain default FFB setting as well. It could be a reason why I'm not feeling what everybody else is feeling. There's a few stutters here at the moment, so that's a little bit concerning. So I'll definitely compare this version to R Factor. R Factor's got the laser scan version. I'm assuming AMS2 tracks will use a laser scan. We caught the just caught the curving there. A bit too hard on the brakes there. Yeah, I've got a 2080 Ti. didn't realise I had so many cars, to be honest. I should have checked that in the menu. I've somehow got 46 cars on the track, which is a bit stupid. It's going to be very hard to get any sort of lap time in without running into a GT3 car. So that was a bit silly of me, but I didn't read the number of cars. See my track map there is, I don't know if you can see it at all, but there is just cars everywhere. If you probably can't, I might move that over in a minute so you can actually see the amount of cars on the screen. It's quite stupid actually. And again, first impression, I mean, it feels okay, but it still just feels AMS too. I don't feel a lot of difference, I'm sorry, unfortunately. I might be one of the negative minority. And the track looks superb, that's for sure. There's still that weird thing on that transition change of direction. Just can't explain it. I don't know. We spin around, a bit too much gas there on the exit. Caught it beautifully. Didn't ruin the tyres too much. Just massive bumps through that last section there. Maybe a bit of a suspension tweak there, possibly. Way wide at turn 1. So I'm tired today. I had a very early start driving a mate to the airport this morning, but don't think that's affecting my opinion on things. Just feels very similar to how it did before, to be honest. Which I think was fun. I still was more than competitive with it and enjoyed it. What TC settings are actually, there we go. No ABS, it is TC. Oh, it's brutal in the middle of the corner there. Might dial that out with a bit of suspension tweaking maybe. come up on a GT3 car, unfortunately, here, I think. See that bit through that corner there, it's very same old AMS too, to be honest, so you get out of trouble through there. Okay, alright, so catching the curbs is a bad thing. Learn our lesson, that's twice now, let's try and learn our lesson on that one. Alright, need some more suggestions on what to try. Just hang the AI out there to dry. Try and get out the pits and do some sort of lap. Back off the brake pressure just a little bit. I'm trying to move this track map over a little bit. Oh, where's the how do you move your HUD? Just got to pull up a HUD menu here. Don't hit the wall. It'll be interesting comparing these cars with LMU though, for sure. I think the energy recovery and the virtual energy is a lot more complicated in LMU. And this is a bit of a in-between system, this one, to make it fairly easy for most people. Passes GT3, then we'll ramp up the energy deployment. That bump is just massive. Alright, maximum output. And he goes off again. I think I've got far too many cars on here at the moment. I've stuffed up and set it to 46 somehow, the maximum you can have. Not the best option when you're trying to test out a car. We might try an old F1 car next, try the retro stuff. Might try an old McLaren MP4, MP5. Has anybody else tried the game today with the update and likes it or not? I said first impression at this stage is just very same old, same old. I'll give it the max beans. Dispatch the BMW, now we'll chase after whatever this is, McLaren I think, up in front. I said it feels nice to drive. Oh, another big stutter. Had a few of those here at Sebring. So it feels nice enough to drive, it just doesn't feel vastly different from 1.5, especially I say through those double left-handers there with that transition of the weights. It's definitely a little bit more testy on the throttle, that's for sure. Be aggressive there with the Corvette. exit that. Let's try something else. Third car. Try the V8 supercar at Bathurst, I think. Make sure our controls are set properly. Should be, right, so... So, okay, max available, that was the problem. Bring that right down. That's cool too, AI mistakes. You have it standard or increased likelihood of them making a mistake. That's very, very nice. Alright, there we go. This was a car people wanted to love, but we never quite get there. Would be nice if they could do some a Gen 3 type car. I think it would be quite popular. At the moment, only Gen 3 V8s we've got on Assetto Corsa, and there's another mod on R Factor, of course. Alright, let's just get out and drive it. Let's also change our wheel over. Put that there for the moment. Alright, cold tyres and cold brakes. I do like the fake names as well of the AI. D. Reynards, J. Courtney, Garth Tandy, fantastic, and Todd Harshwood. This will be interesting because, of course, around the cutting was one of those places on AMS on the old version, the 1.5. You just give it a bootful, you turn the car in with a weird slip angle and just give it an absolute bootful around the cutting. Down through here, massively overdrive the car down through the dipper. He does feel quite a bit different, the Super V8 on first impression here. Does feel better under braking, that's for sure. Initial turning, actually the Super V8 feels not too bad here on 1.6. So far our best first impression has been the Super V8. The GT3 and the LMDH weren't a spectacular, overwhelming experience. And my general thought so far is very just AMS 1.5 and a bit. Okay, that's good. That actually does more like it. Giving it too much bootful out of the cutting there. Oh, try and go back here to the pits. Because with the old car, I said you just get to the cutting, change down a couple of gears, tip it into a certain steering wheel, and then just give an absolute bootful. And sort of throttle your way out of trouble. And a lot more finesse is required now. There's cold tyres leading to the car just kicking out. Jamie Wine Cup. Fantastic names there in the AI, I like that. Should be Whinge Cup. And the cars in this game are that old. We've even got Paul Dumbbell. That's a lot more skatey through the dipper there. Again, that was another one of those spots. We would just get the car somewhat pointed to where you want it and just give it an absolute bootful. I think the Super V8 will be one that people will say is much improved. I'm loving the new menu. The new UI does look good. Love that preset idea. The biggest thing for us, especially with the leagues that I do run in, that try and give the admins a few less headaches if they can fix that multiplayer issue, which they say they have, where they've reduced the amount of data going back and forward to the servers, take the load off the server, because AMS would absolutely shit itself if there was more than about 10 cars in the lobby at one time. And when you're trying to run grids with 25 cars or whatever, it's not a fun night when people are disconnecting left, right and centre. And a bit too hot there, and the tyre did not come back. Down towards the grates. Of course, one thing AMS does fantastic, or Reza do well, are their circuits. They're wonderfully brought to life, especially the retro stuff, the historical tracks. Of course, fantastic looking trees as well. They do a great 3D tree in AMS too. I think, yeah, definitely. Okay, so Super V8 definitely better. The GT3 car wasn't great that we started off with. It felt just as bad as it was in 1.5. The LMDH car was really neither here nor there. It was good fun. The big Lamborghini. Sebring looked fantastic there. And of course, all that new content is free, I think, for the weekend. for it. Probably, well, might go on stuff for Black Friday, but definitely free content there for a little while. Do one more lap here. So the AI we got set to, I think, 102 or something at the moment. They've also tweaked the AI. The higher rate, 120%, is faster. The slower rating, 70%, is slower than it used to be. So they've also tweaked how they race against you as well, and their wet weather performance. Because I think a lot of people have said, especially in the wet, the AI and AMS2 were just so far ahead of you. They could just fly through the water. You can catch the slide though when it does go. We just caught the curve there as well. Certainly very busy over the top of the mountain. Oh, there we go. Now in the old game there, or the old version 1.5, you could run over that curve quite easily with no real penalty, so just caught that there and it flicked you around. Let's try one old school F1 car, and then we'll might jump into multiplayer, see how that's looking. I'll use the presets. What do we got? MP47, that'll be the flappy paddle stuff, I think. Yeah, 6-speed sequential. Oh, there's a H pattern. We want to find a H pattern car. Formula Classic, what do we got there? Oh, yeah, got MP4. Oh, let's go to MP4 5B, the screaming V10. Yep, historic Adelaide, that's probably the only place you want to go with this car. Or the first place you want to go with this car. Let's not go max available. Oh, can't change that, was that? I don't know why we can't change the number of opponents. There we go, custom. Just going to reduce that, there's not as many on the screen. Oh, I didn't change my control presets. A little frustration with AMS2 that you can't, once you get into the game, you can't change your preset. I've got 5 different profiles set in my control menu. We can't quite change that, which is a little bit annoying, but we'll see how we go when we get in here. See if the H pattern is actually working. The loading time's a little bit longer on the new build. Feels like I'm waiting slightly longer. Where's options? No options. Oh, here we go. Options. No, so you can't control. Let's just drive and see if the H pattern is actually working. Okay, it is. The clutch is working. So adjust the FOV a little bit. .240 kph speed limit. That's the old days for you. And these cars are always great fun in AMS. Behind an old Leighton house, is it? Looks like it. That's fantastic. But these things sound better, absolutely. Absolutely screaming. I said Reza do such a great job. Oh, on the tracks. Got out of control there a little bit on the gear shift. Yeah, the circuits they do are absolutely fantastic. The historic stuff is brilliant. You actually feel like you're back in the 80s or 90s or 70s or wherever they need you to feel. And old Adelaide looking fantastic as well. Of course, this is one of the iconic cars growing up of Senna's. Oh, race room for sure, mate. Therese, that's absolute no-brainer for me. Race room had their huge physics update at the start of this year in January 2024. It was already probably one of the best driving sims, and it still is. So it's still race room and R Factor 2 for me. They are the absolute best of the best at race room. It's just since that latest, or the later update, it's just gone through the roof. Had a graphics update, of course, recently, and they're getting DirectX 12 next year and a few more updates. Hopefully they'll lead to progressive weather and that sort of stuff. But in terms of actual driving physics, race room feels like you're driving actual cars, no doubt about that. And the content they're bringing out is just fantastic at the moment. Of course, the next big drop's going to be the Super Tourer content. I think that comes out early next week. Second gear at the hairpin, trying to control a little bit of wheel spin down here. Certainly get that fantastic kick. Get through the first chicane, head out towards the staircase. Left foot braking, let the car ring out in second gear. Into the old Adelaide. Of course, the V8 supercar track cuts out most of this stuff these days. And the old pub on the left hand side. Like a tricky corner, a little right hander there. Don't want to catch too much curving. Those curbs are deadly to these cars. You stay off those at all costs. On a Ligier, I think that is. If he gets out of the way, and he does. Very, very messy through there. The wrong gear and everything. little bit of a setup on this one. Look, they finally labelled what the letters actually mean. D obviously was soft back in the day. Heaps of fuel. Let's get rid of some of that fuel. Adelaide, so we'll max out the aero. Just about. I love that speed limit, 240 kph. Always get stuck behind the Ligier and the Port and the what is it? The Ligier and the Leighton House. Sorry, always get stuck behind those two cars. Because back in the day, there was a huge spread of speed between the top cars and the back markers, whereas these days, modern Formula One, the whole field's often spread by, maybe a second and a half at most. Whereas back in the day, it was spread by maybe 7, 8, 9 seconds. These cars, again, they feel good. They have improved. I still think it still essentially feels like AMS 2, which some people will find good, some will find bad. I think if you don't like AMS 2, you're never going to like it anyway, no matter what happens to the tyre model. My biggest thing is how the multiplayer side of it will go. Have they fixed all the disconnects? It's still essentially, it's a very fun game to drive, and always was, even with the slidiness. Like I said, it's good fun to put your boot into it and save the car. Well, it didn't require much skill. You just got yourself in a bit of trouble in the corner, you just gave it a boot full of the right foot, and the car would sort of magically straighten itself up. Not a realistic way of driving the car, but that's just how it was. So I feel a massive connection between the steering and the tyres. Certainly better, there's no doubt about that. And some cars will feel worse than others, I suppose. We started off with two very unimpressive cars, and the last couple have been a lot better. Big bumps there on the exits. I don't know why suddenly I can't get into the 6th gear down the back straight. That's weird. A little bit held up there by the slower car. That's a 9th. Half a second up. Yeah, overall, yeah, I'll put it high because the RSS and VRC especially are fantastic. But AC still has an inherent understeer issue, or not issue, just understeer trait with most cars. So I still think overall race room drives the best across a wide range of cars. As the AI crashes there, and it almost tags me, and he does, I think. Bad redrone there by the AI. Cost me a faster lap. But yeah, race room for me is absolutely number one. And this car does feel fantastic though. There really is nothing better than an old H-Pattern F1 car. 4 tenths up there at the moment, hopefully no traffic. Or at least not traffic in the wrong spot. And race room is great, you can try anything, any car and track combo for free before you put your money down. Which is fantastic, you don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. Final sector, 7 tenths up. Alright, was that put us 8th, 0.9 off Ayrton's time. Alright, let's jump out and try some multiplayer. That'll be the big tester. The lobbies have been very, very full today. Do the presets. Multiplayer. Best thing about AMS too, of course, is you can host your own lobbies, which is great. Oh, here we go. Yep, there's lots of stuff happening. A few of these are already in the race. Got, of course, low fuel motorsports. A few of those are there. I haven't joined up to low fuel motorsport yet. I'm one that's still in the practice phase. GT3 cars here. Road Atlanta. All the GT3 cars, isn't it? They're not very good fun to drive, unfortunately. A couple of these are already in the race, unfortunately. So Mo Sport Park, I don't think I've ever driven Mo Sport Park, to be honest. That's a pretty default setup here for these guys. Oh, and he drives you out of the pits. Alright. We can't change the ERS mode, can we? Yes, we can, maybe? Yes, we can, okay. The Mo Sport Park looks fantastic from first impression, though it wasn't what I thought it was. I thought it was a different circuit, was Mo Sport Park. And I've just gone straight off, lucky damage is off, so we'll learn the circuit as we go. And watch the map as well. Love the scuff marks on the road there as well. It's one of the new circuits you can try out for free before you put your money down to buy. Fourth gear for that final corner, to be honest. Alright. Let's pretend we've learnt the circuit. Good fun this circuit, that's for sure. Oh. I've got to adjust the energy deployment as well. Make sure we maximise that next time around. Sorry, third gear for the last corner. Opens up slightly. I was using second before. Let's give that the full beans on the boost. Fourth gear down through there as well. And just learning the gearing each time around. Lots of undulations here. It's a great little circuit. Reminds me of some of the British stuff, to be honest. Bit of bump and grind through there. Just slow it down and give ourselves a bit of a gap. Got 25 seconds to cross the line, so no hurry. Right, end up 1 second away from the Porsche. How long's the race? Where does that say? "10 minutes. See what sort of carnage unfolds in a public lobby. What could possibly go wrong is always the question. He's gone very wide. See if he runs me out. Turn our deployment down a little bit there. It's only a 10-minute race. Oh, and around we go. Too busy trying to get our engine deployment back to auto. Not concentrating. And now we're just crashing into people. I'll restart the car. Let's just exit out of that. It was a mess. Don't fiddle with your settings while you're driving is the rule for that one. Alright, who else we got? Motorsport multi-class, that'll be GT3s though probably. A lot of GT3 and multi-class stuff going on. That one's full, and that said it wasn't. Nothing really exciting me there, so I want to drive GT3. It's like an ACC lobby at the moment. So they're obviously in a race by the look of it. There's the time trial of the week. GT3s. Or the LMDH cars. I thought that was Nordschleifer, just the Nürburgring. Alright, someone's finally put up a lobby with an old retro car. There's a lot of GT3 and LMDH stuff up at the moment. And it's filled out with AI, that's a bit, don't like that. Let's drive something in the wet, I reckon, then we might finish up. Almost a crash there, not quite. Meant to choose rain, not clouds. We'll get out of this in a minute and go back and do some rain. My overall feeling so far is a bit underwhelming, very much feels similar to the old 1.5 build for me, but that is just my opinion, of course. Some rain. We can try some of this offline racing, as in off the racing line, see if the grip's a little bit better out there as it should be. Alright, let's just drive it, let's go. T-set about 6 at the moment. This is just a little bit of a light rain. There's tyre warmers on these cars, so the tyres are green. I love the slightly overcast sky breaking up the other clouds at the end of the hairpin. Always enjoyed the wet weather driving on AMS too. Because you're used to sliding around so much anyway that it didn't really matter if it was wet. Ah yes, and of course got to turn off the auto upshift. Where is it? There we go. Upshift mode off. I don't want to pit in. There we go. My little iPad thing is blocking half of the HUD there at the bottom. You hear the TC kicking, of course, these old cars. You're hearing it very clearly when it kicks in. You hear it out of this corner. The understeer wide. That's the TC. I think the force feedback actually overall feels quite light, or lighter than what I remember from previously. That's sort of part of the issue with my disconnect feeling. Of course, you compare the weather effects, you've got to compare everything to Assetto Corsa with Ilia's fantastic rain mod, and the work done by Peter Bose and the, well, now Pure, used to be Sol, now Pure. Those two mods together, nothing's come close to those rain effects. This doesn't affect the driving, of course. You've got to fiddle around with the content manager settings for that side of it, but got to rate iRacing, of course, up there with their weather implementation. I haven't driven it, but all the stuff I've seen and from real drivers, it has fantastic feedback. This AMS2 has the great build off of puddles, the grip levels offline. And the transition from wet to dry and back again. I've had many great races in AMS 2 with the weather coming and going. I'll let try this car in the dry as well. We'll probably finish up soon. It's really not grabbing me with any great excitement, the updates for AMS. It's still a fantastic game and I absolutely love it. Always have. But the driving experience still isn't where it needs to be for me overall. Good to see people giving it a go though. There's plenty of people in the multiplayer lobbies, even though it's night time in Europe at the moment. Alright, that's probably enough for me for the moment, so I'll exit out of this. Certainly worth a go. I probably will end up buying some of the newer content as well. No doubt about it. I'll get the new tracks and some of the new cars. I've got most of the rest of the content. But overall impression is, yeah, it's sort of a 1.5.5 for me at the moment. But as always, thanks for watching.